Computer, activate recording for personal log.
Working. Ready.
Personal log. Admiral Merrill studied my report and then examined Northon, who's interred at Starbase 17 medical facility. After the examination, criminal charges have been filed against me. Admiral Merrill has relieved me of command. I've put Tizrak in charge of the Antyllus in the meantime. My further orders were for the Antyllus to rendezvous with the Starship Saladin in Sector 52, where they will escort us to my trial, which in that regard I have to make some decisions. I always believed that you reap what you sow. Well, I'm going to put that to the test now. I await whatever fate has in store for me. Admiral Merrill said, "Did I realize how much trouble I was in?" And I replied to him, "I know, Admiral. I know."
Captain, incoming transmission.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Send it through.
My apologies, Captain Allan. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances.
It's good to see you again, Captain Martin. Yeah, I've had better days, that's for sure.
My orders are to make sure the Antyllus returns to fleet territory. I was not allowed to ask about why you needed Gartrell, as the situation is on a need-to-know basis. This feels all wrong, Captain. What the hell is going on?
I made a decision, and now I have to see how it all plays out.
Well, whatever you did, I can't believe that Starfleet has lost all confidence in you.
I'll send you my official report on what happened. And maybe you'll lose all confidence in me as well.
Not likely, but I'll let you know my thoughts after I've studied the report. If you need someone to talk to about this, I'm available.
Thank you, Captain. We're on the planned course. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Thought never crossed my mind, Captain. Saladin out.
While I applaud your honesty, I have to ask, what the hell were you thinking? I'm not sure, Miles. I feel like I was emerging from a nightmare. Northon derailed me. Confronting that kind of evil, I lost myself for a moment. Then when Tizrak assumed that Northon attempted suicide, I just let her believe it. I didn't correct her. Well, it was at that point that I made a decision. The truth, for better or worse, had to come out.
But at what cost? This is going to ruin you.
I'm not giving up, Miles, and neither should you. I made a decision, and I want to run it by you.
I appreciate that.
I've been offered 3 choices by Starfleet Command, which under the circumstances is very fortunate.
3 choices?
The first is I retire my commission immediately, and all charges will be dropped, and my career in Starfleet will effectively be over. The second choice is a lengthy Starfleet trial back on Earth. It may take weeks, even months, to resolve the situation.
Unbelievable. What's the third choice?
The one I'm actually choosing. All legal matters for this half of the quadrant can be settled on the legal world of Neuron 5, better known as the Planet Tribunal.
I never heard of it.
It's a world that uses a frontier justice system where trials are completed within hours. Decisions are quickly reached and verdicts are upheld galaxy-wide. Computers monitor those that testify for signs of deception, and the lawyers there fight just as much as the accused.
That's awful. Why go there? Rushing through the legal process, it doesn't sound like you'll get a fair trial.
Miles, Northern has taken many years of my life already. I don't want to spend a single moment more dealing with this. I am ready to defend myself, and whatever the final judgment is rendered, I will accept it.
Well, I can't change your mind, but I will testify on your behalf.
That means more to me than I can say, Doc. We arrive on Tribunal in 4 days. Now, I have to prepare my defense and find my assigned lawyer.
I wonder who you'll get.
Ambassador Gartrell, what are you doing here, sir?
I have been assigned to be your lawyer, Captain Allan.
I had no idea that the Vulcans were even aware of my situation, sir.
More than you know, Captain. But if you fear that I might not be qualified enough, my legal and trial experience is quite extensive.
Happy to have you aboard, Ambassador.
You may refer to me as Gartrell or legal advocate. Now, we have much to discuss and prepare. The trial begins tomorrow.
I am prepared to give you whatever you need, Advocate.
Captain's log supplemental. The Saladin has entered orbit behind the Antyllus, where we will maintain station keeping and continued escort, pending the results of the trial of my friend Allan. He has asked me to testify as a character witness, and I'm glad to do so. A tough situation he's in right now. I only hope that my perspective as another Starfleet captain will help. End log entry. Transporter room, stand by. I'm beaming down. Mr. Zonak, you have the con.
Acknowledged.
Energized.
Case 456897, Alpha B 2354C. Crime. Murder attempt on Druladanian citizen Northen by Starfleet Captain Allan. Unnecessary use of force, illegal abuse of Medical Code 256, and exceeding mandates of a Starship officer. Prosecutor is Nolan Danvers. Defense lawyer is Advocate Gartrell of Vulcan. The judge is Honorable George Pitius III. Jury computer is actively recording. All rise for Judge Pitius.
You may all sit. I will now take opening statements before proceeding. Any objections to be noted first.
But this has nothing to do with Vulcan.
This is a matter of Starfleet policy.
To which we are prominent members, is this not so? Captain Allan's record speaks for itself. He has accomplished much in his mission so far, and has paved the way for galactic stability. My government has authorized me to speak on his behalf.
I cannot see the logic of your presence here.
Enough. I am satisfied he has the right to advocate for the accused. Let us begin. Mr. Danvers, you may begin with your opening statement.
Thank you. The charge of flagrant abuse of power is offered for the record. No man, especially a Starfleet captain, has the right to destroy another man's life. Not when he is helpless and defeated. If one life matters so little to him, imagine what he could do with the power of a starship under his command. We must set an example and show that we will not tolerate this madness. Not for a moment. Thank you.
Calling Captain Holt Allan to the stand. Do you swear to abide the rules and regulations of the tribunal judgment system?
I do.
Captain Allan, can you tell the court why you grew that beard?
I grew it to honor my fiancée. It is a reminder of who she was and what she meant to me.
I see. And despite the fact that Starfleet frowns upon facial hair, it did not stop you from growing it.
No, it's culturally relevant to me. It is a representation of a deceased loved one.
So, your honor is more important to you than Starfleet protocol.
Objection. Mr. Danvers is speculating. There is no regulation on whether a captain can or cannot grow facial hair.
Mr. Danvers, be careful. I'll allow a little latitude, but watch your speculation.
Of course, Your Honor. Is it reasonable to say that you really loved Miss Natalie Robertson?
Yes.
And what would you do to have her back?
Objection. Mr. Danvers is asking my client to incriminate himself.
I do not agree. The accused will answer the question.
She's passed on. There is no getting her back.
And this upsets you?
Yes, of course. She was murdered.
Would you say that how she died affected your behavior since then?
I was affected. But it was not my guiding principle, despite the pain.
And if you could avenge her death, would you?
Objection.
Overruled.
If you could avenge her death, would you?
Yes, I would. In fact, I did.
A murderer deserves death, does he not?
Yes.
Thank you, Captain. A very interesting response, I might add.
And yet, when the time came, you did not kill Northen. Why?
It's complicated. He was my friend a lot longer than he was my enemy.
A friend who killed your fiancée.
Some part of me wanted to end him. But I thought the better solution was to imprison him.
Some would say that what you did was worse than killing him.
I don't believe that.
But your culture demanded you kill him for what he did.
Yes. But my Starfleet training confused me. Druladanians settle things in a different manner. compromise was in order.
Compromise or confusion? Tell the court what you were thinking at the moment you defeated Northen. Did you not want to punish him?
Well, I wanted to. But he needed to face who and what he was.
In the Druidanian culture, what does it mean to avenge someone?
It is one of our fundamental rights. It would be a greater wrong to do nothing.
A fundamental right of the Druidanian civilization code?
Yes, and I do believe in its depiction of justice, as far as it goes.
For clarification, in Federation terms, would it be fair to describe this code as an eye for an eye?
I understand the reference. Yes, that would be one way to describe it.
How do you reconcile this way of thinking with that of Starfleet, an organization that believes in rehabilitation at all costs?
I embrace both ideologies, but I have the authority to make field decisions. Life or death situations are a reality for those who serve in Starfleet. I do what's best for everyone under those circumstances, and that is the basis for my actions.
You do what's best for everyone. Thank you.
Can you tell me what happened on Stardate 3251.3?
I've logged a lot of star dates, Mr. Danvers.
So you can't remember? That's alright. I'll refresh your memory. You encountered a species called the Imakdruk. Can you tell the court what happened to them?
Objection. What is the relevance of this line of questioning?
Mr. Danvers, is there a point to your questions?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm trying to demonstrate to the court a disturbing pattern of behavior exhibited by this man.
Mr. Danvers, you may proceed.
Thank you. What happened when you came across the Imakdruk? According to your report, the entire race was destroyed by you.
That is true.
So you admit it?
The Antyllus was attacked without provocation. The Imakdruk were ruthless hunters that destroyed everyone and everything they encountered. We tried communicating with them, and even after fair warning, they attacked us. We were defending ourselves. It was a life or death situation. It's all on the record.
Since you killed all the Imakdruk, we have to take your word for it, don't we?
The facts are there if you care to take a look, Mr. Danvers. There are over 400 crew members who will confirm the events of that incident.
Moving on. Take us through what happened regarding the Pellor Prime mission. There are some who accuse you of gross negligence when it comes to how you handled the situation to begin with. Was this your first hostage crisis? Explain yourself to the court.
Hostages were taken at the Pellor Prime base. My orders were to resolve the situation. Upon arrival, all our scans were blocked by an unknown shielding. With little or no information, I tried to open up a dialogue to resolve the situation peacefully. Northen answered, and his stance was, do what I say or the hostages die. I agreed to his terms because he said the hostages' lives depended upon my full cooperation.
Alright. But now, let's examine a few points. Northen set up an interference field blocking your sensor sweeps. So how did you know about the condition of the hostages? Did you ask to see them? If they were already dead, you could have charged right in there and captured Northen then.
Northen stated he would be calling the shots. I believed, since I knew him, we could talk this thing out. He stated, in fact, that all he wanted to do was talk with me. I knew that if I asked to see the hostages, he would say no. And the situation would be no different than as it played out. Later on, it was determined by our medical staff that the hostages were alive during our conversation and were later killed about 10 minutes prior to Northon's departure of the base. We had no way of knowing this at the time.
So you are telling the court that you just accepted the word of a terrorist?
Based on the fact that we knew each other, yes.
You based your lack of actions on a terrorist because you felt he was being honest with you? Why not send in an armed team?
The base shields were up. If I had sent a shuttle, he would know. You don't seem to appreciate how smart Northern is. He single-handedly captured that base and all its occupants. While holding hostages, he set up an interference screen that blocked our sensor sweeps. His stated purpose was to talk with me specifically. I accepted this. Otherwise, the crisis makes no sense. He could have captured the base, killed the hostages, and escaped before anyone knew about it. No. I felt that lives could be saved if I cooperated. After all, his only demand was meeting with me.
Very noble of you, Captain. But tell me this. When you found out that after Northern left the base, all the hostages were killed, why didn't you hunt him down?
There were the 4 hostages he still had with him down on the planet.
Surely you didn't think they were still alive?
I had no choice but to believe that they were. I hope so, at any rate.
So you went down to the planet to meet with him? I believe you had a supply bag with you? Can you tell the court what was in the bag and why you brought it with you in the first place?
I brought along a med kit in case any of the hostages needed medical attention.
Are you a doctor?
No, but I have had some training.
I see. Does that include knowledge of alien medicines? Including humanoids from Alpha Drulidan, your homeworld?
Naturally.
Did you pack the bag yourself?
For the most part. Dr. Miles also assisted.
Dr. Miles, your chief medical officer?
Yes.
What was in the bag?
A set of hypos, pain relief medicine, galactic variety pack.
That includes some very powerful chemicals, does it not?
Well, yes, so that many life forms can be treated. It was a precaution since I couldn't be sure of all the species among the hostages.
Is this the weapon you used on Northern?
It is the weapon Northern pointed at me. When I wrestled the weapon away from him, I used it to stun him.
After you stunned Northern, what did you do?
I confined him to his own mind. He had to be stopped.
In fact, you reached into your medkit and pulled out a hypo, and put that helpless man into a permanent coma. Instead of calling the authorities after you stunned him, you decided right then and there to avenge yourself on him. Never mind that you are a Starfleet captain. What kind of inhuman monster are you to do such a thing to another man? A friend of yours, in fact. I can only imagine how you'd treat an enemy. Wait. I'm sure the Mac Troop know all about that.
Objection.
Sustained. That will be quite enough of that, Mr. Danvers.
When you went down to the planet, what was the objective of your mission?
To save the 4 hostages, and to find out why Northern had gone insane.
The record shows that the 4 remaining hostages were killed. How did they die?
Their throats had been cut. We found the bodies behind a tree not too far from where I had my confrontation with Northern.
Northern is now considered a mass murderer. It is currently unknown, but the total number of victims continues to rise. The implications are indeed disturbing. It may well be over 200 victims. Among them, your fiancé. How did you react to this information?
I was in shock. I didn't want to believe it. But I believed him based on what I knew about the circumstances of Natalie's death. Northland said that he would continue to kill, especially me, and that no prison would ever hold him.
At that moment, did you fear for your life?
I feared what Northland was capable of. He pointed out that if I failed to act, many more would die. I had to stop him. My solution was not to kill him, but imprison him. I modified a hypo using cordracine and Benos hyperdrin. Each drug taken alone is used for healing, but when combined, can induce coma.
So you opted for a non-violent solution to one of the most dangerous serial killers ever. What were your feelings after you had done this?
I was deeply upset that my friend had to be stopped, but at the same time, I felt he needed to be punished. I rest easy now knowing that many lives, his future victims, were spared. No matter how much personal pain I go through, it is a small price to pay.
You could have lied and perhaps gotten away with it. Why did you tell the truth?
I won't lie. Part of me wanted to cover it up and get on with my life. But the more I thought of it, the more I felt the truth had to come out. I am a Starship captain, as well as a Druladanian, and I will face the consequences of my actions.